Hello there, this is Robert Mizzell, and you're listening to ICMR Radio with Seamus Long.
Now, there we have it. That is Robert Mizzell and Louisiana Saturday night. Yes, it is Louisiana that Mr. Mizzell is from. So if you got that right, well, we'll be getting you now in a few minutes. We'll be giving out the prize. Yes, we will. In the meantime, Mr. Mizzell, Robert, are you there?
I certainly am, loud and clear, and great to talk to you this lovely, beautiful evening.
It is, although it's a little bit chillier than it has been for the last couple of days, but, well, yesterday wasn't too good, but yeah, we were blessed with the good weather there for a little while, but it's starting to come back against us now, but yeah. At least it's dry. I met a fellow one time in a shop one day. We were in a queue, and it was a very wet day here. It's going back a few months ago, very wet day, and I said to him, "It's an awful day, isn't it?" And he's turned to me and he said, "No, it's not an awful day." He said, "There's no such thing as bad weather in Ireland. There's only the wrong clothes you're wearing." Well, I tell you, he had a spot on that one anyway. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's a way of looking at it, isn't it? Yeah, the wrong clothes, because if you're wearing the wrong clothes, you're either going to be too hot, too cold, too wet, or too dry.
That's right.
Now, I tell you, you've always, since the first time I've seen you, Mr. Mizzell, you have been a fantastic man on the stage. Actually, I met you up in somewhere up around the north, trying to remember now where it was, but I remember the first thing I said, well, geez, your man is lively on the stage. You were doing all the hopping and lipping around and all. You're a lively man on the stage. And
I always think that when you're entertaining people, see, I suppose, the music that I do is when obviously, and the songs I record are very important and people like them. But I always think when it comes down to the dance, I think that a lot of people, when they were coming out to a dance on a Friday or Saturday night or whenever, they want to forget their troubles and they want to sort of forget about what's going on in their lives and just enjoy. And, I always try the best I can, to provide that entertainment for them, because that's why it's called the entertainment business. And, I love being active anyway. I've always been a very active, talkative guy anyway, so I suppose it comes natural to me. But I just love that buzz that you get from a room full of dancing people, and I do have to say I really miss that. And I'm looking forward to the day we get back.
And how or when did you get was it when you were a young chap, or when did you get in on the, when did you figure that you had that buzz for getting up on the stage?
Well, I suppose I was later in life than most people. I mean, I think I was 24 or 25 before I even took my first step on stage. I always sang. My mother and father were singers, and, I always was around music. My cousins and my aunt and most all of my family are musical in some way, and so I always had the music there. But I suppose it wasn't until I saw that people started reacting, to my singing, that gave me a bit of a buzz. And I said, "Oh, people like what I do," and that's a great honor, when people sort of say that, because people were telling me at that stage, "Oh, geez, I think you should start a band and you get on the road." And I said, "No, sure, I'd never be able to do that." And it took me a while to sort of get my head around the fact that I could. And then, but it's all down to one thing in this business when you start. You have to have a hit song. And I was very fortunate with "Say You Love Me" because it was a massive hit. I think "Say You Love Me" was probably one of the last radio hits in Ireland that I would constitute a proper hit, because nowadays, you have a song that's popular, but the radio play is different than it was back then. That's 20 years ago. So I'm honored to have had that hit, and it definitely launched me into everybody's kitchens and living rooms at that time, and that's what gave me the buzz. And sure, once I got the buzz, sure, nothing could stop me then.
And when you came to Ireland first, I don't think it was the music that brought you over, though, was it? I think.
No, I met my first wife in Connecticut many years ago, and she was Irish. She's from Kildare, and we decided that she wanted to come home, and I wasn't going let her go without me. So I took a chance and came over to Ireland and spent, I've spent the last almost 30 years here, and we have a daughter together, and which we stay very close to her, and I suppose that's probably what kept me here, what kept me, and it sort of cemented my life here, and then on from that, I'm so lucky that. Listen, my wife now, Adele, she's we have two children together, and we built a life here over the last 30 years that we're very proud of. But it was a long road, I mean, it was like everything else. You have your ups and downs like everybody does in life, but I've been very fortunate. I've been very, very fortunate and lucky to have had the opportunities and to have the success I've had, and I that's why I think I miss being out on the road so much, because the people that have been so good to me, I miss those people. I miss them. I miss their laughter and their friendship. And but look, we'll get back there. We're going to weather the storm that we're in right now, and I know for sure we'll get back.
And of course, so how were you discovered then, or did it just happen, or like did someone notice you, or? Like, the way that usually you get, like, did you start, you just happen to get him with a few lads playing music? What way did that happen? Or
Well, it was actually when I started off first, I once I sort of got the hunger for singing and for performing, I remember I basically went looking to find out who was involved in the music business, to see who. I was looking for a promoter or a manager or somebody to help support me. And I actually came to Mullingar many years ago looking for Tommy Swarbrick. Tommy, of course, as you know, from the mighty Tommy
Swarbrick
from
Brothers, yeah,
the Swarbrick Brothers, and he worked with the Times Band and Joe Dolan. And I came looking for him, and I found him. And me and Tommy struck up a friendship over the years, and we struck up a musical relationship as well. And with that, he wrote a few songs for me. And he wrote the first song. I don't know if you remember, it was called "Kick-Ass Country."
Kick-Ass Country,
and, That was sort of the first song that introduced me to the music business. And now me and Tommy still work together at times, but I was managed then for over 7 or 8 years by Willie Carty. Willie Carty manages Mike Denver now, and spent time with him. And then after that, I sort of took over myself, and I have a manager now, Sharon Kelly, who looks after my affairs. And we sort of took over the office ourselves, and as opposed when you get to a certain level in your career, you want to have more control, and you want to be, you want to point yourself in your own direction. And through all of those changes and all of those, chops and changes we made down through the years, the fans stayed with me, and they always supported me and told me I was doing the right thing. And we've had a great career, and I'm so glad that I have, and I'm hoping that I have another few years in the bag as well.
And of course, after Christmas every year, you usually get in with Mr. Feeney and Mr. Buckley and become the three amigos. And
yes.
And from I have yet to actually, would you believe it, and I'm very sorry to say it, but I have yet to have the pleasure of seeing ye in concert, the three of ye, because from what I've heard, it is supposed to be a great show altogether, great fun, great crack. There's you dress up, you do every sort of stuff in it, and how did that come about, or was it just three lads getting together and just said, we'll have a go at it?
Well, there's actually four amigos. The other one is Joe Finnegan. Joe, of course, is a broadcaster with Shannonside Northern Sound. But I think we all sat down. I think we must have met at some stage and got talking. And we, Joe and myself and Jimmy and Patrick at different stages, I think we had bumped into each other and sort of liked each other's fun. And we sort of came up with this idea between us, I think, that, what about going out on the concert scene, together. And look, at first, I remember I think the first gig we ever done, if I'm not mistaken, was in the Rue Glynn in Waterford. And, Jimmy was up on stage singing, and me and Patrick were backstage, and we put on a couple of aprons we found in the dressing room, and started sweeping the floor around Jimmy on the stage. Now that the show has probably progressed a lot since then, the comedy is more sophisticated, and a lot of the music is more sophisticated. But one thing we didn't lose down through the years, because we're doing this 10 years now or more, we didn't lose the crack and the fun. And it is a great show, and there again, we're looking forward to the tour now in January, which we're hoping with all the restrictions, that it'll be lifted enough that we can get back to do that. And another great aspect to my career that I've been lucky to be involved in, because I know there's a lot of singers out there would have given their left arm to be involved in something so successful. So there again, I don't know. I must be a very lucky man. That's all I can say. But I'm thankful for it.
And of course, you were mentioning there Adele as well, and of course you have young Maisie and Leo. And I actually asked you earlier on there, just before we came on, Leo, that has nothing to do with Mr. Varadkar. You didn't call him after our Taoiseach or anything, no?
No, well, actually, it's funny because I go to America every year on a tour that I do out in Nashville. And for the last 10 years or so, we have a bus driver. His name is Leo. And he's a lovely black gentleman. And we got on so well down through the years. And he was always so good to me. And then a couple of years ago, he lost. Leo would be in his probably near 80 now, or maybe more, and he lost one of his daughters in a severe car crash. And I remember meeting him and talking to him about it, and he was so broken down. It was his only daughter. He had other sons, but he had no other daughter. And it just something struck me when Adele was pregnant with Leo. You know, his face came into my mind, and I said, you know what? I think I'd love to honor him as a good friend, the good friend he was to me, and we like the name as well, and it just so happens he's named after our Taoiseach, and that's no harm too. I mean, I want to say that, you know, down through the years, you know, we talk about politicians and we talk about the things they do and the things they don't do, and you know, I'd be a critic the same as everybody else when it comes to politics, but I have to give him credit. I have to applaud him for his professionalism and his sincerity in dealing with all of the issues around the coronavirus. And so, if Leo is compared to him in any way, it wouldn't be a bad thing in my eyes.
Yeah, the only thing now is you wouldn't want to let that be said too loud, because you'll have Micheál Martin and Mary Lou and a few like that.
Yeah, and look, and as I say, look, it takes, you see, a lot of people forget, I think, when it comes to being a leader. You know, every leader, no matter who you are or how popular you may be, there's always another side. There's always the opposition. And, you know, Mary Lou McDonald and all these other guys, they're doing great work too. And they're, you know, and someday, I mean, look, I think we all have a notion that someday Mary Lou McDonald might be our Taoiseach. And if she was, I'm sure she'll put her best foot forward and do a good job. And, you know, I'm just thankful that we live in a country like Ireland. I mean, I can praise the country because I've been living here so long. I can praise the people. You know, I'm glad that we're going through what we're going through here. And there's a lot of other countries that you could be in. I think this whole thing would be a lot worse. You know, we'll all be a lot worse off. And I'm proud of the way the Irish people are dealing with this. And I think we're all working together trying to make sure that we maintain our distance. And you know, it's a sad time in a lot of ways, and obviously for the people who've lost their lives, that's awfully sad for them and their families. But if we try to take a positive side from it, we're pulling together as a country, and I think that's definitely a positive.
Well, actually, what I meant more was that Micheál Martin and Mary Lou might be waiting outside the labour ward and hoping that the next couple of children might be called after them.
Well, let me assure you, let me assure you, those days are over for me. Well, let's put it this way. As I said, we already talked about this yesterday, myself and Adele. We were saying that you know, not only do we have no more time for the other children, we don't have any more rooms in the house. So I think we're pretty much maxed out at this stage. But we're so happy. I mean, we have two beautiful little kids, and they are just amazing, and they give us great time and they give us great memories every day. We have great memories with them, and you know, thank God for them. That's all I can say. Especially right now, thank God for them.
Now, I'll tell you, I have a load of people here looking to say hello to you, Robert, and hoping that you might actually say hello back to them, if that was possible at all.
I certainly will, absolutely.
Now, I have Patricia Watchhorn is listening in. She's there in the county of Wexford.
What was her first name?
Patricia, or Trish.
Hello, Trish, how are you? And you're very welcome, and thank you for listening in Wexford, and we hope that you're enjoying the little bit of good weather we're having, even though it's a bit chilly, and we look forward to getting back to the dance halls to see you. I don't know whether you dance or whether you go to the concerts, but wherever you go, we look forward to having you back.
Well, she's a great woman with hens and ducks and little baby lambs now, so I'm not sure whether she'd have time for And now Margaret Moore, I think you might know her. She's up there in Auchnacoy, and she goes to a lot of your dances and concerts as well.
Auchnacoy, that's in County Monaghan, isn't it?
Yeah, County Tyrone there, just across the border.
It's on the border. It's on the border. Yeah, I know. I think I probably would know Margaret. Now, a lot of people now, I will admit that I would know by their face rather than just a name. But Margaret, the next time we meet, make sure you mention the fact that you were listening in tonight, and I guarantee you, I know who you are.
And Ron Hinsley is listening in as well.
Hello, Ron. How are you? Good evening to you, sir.
And
he's in Wolverhampton, you said?
Yeah, Wolverhampton, yeah.
Fair play to you. Well, thank you very much for listening in.
Sean Goran.
Hello, Sean. How are you? I hope all the family's well. Please give them my best.
And Michelle Orr, she's over there in England as well. I think she's Bedford area is where she was living there anyway. I remember Michelle actually from years back myself, but Michelle Orr is her name, if you wouldn't mind saying.
I think myself and Michelle might be friends on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken.
You could
so hello to you, Michelle, and good evening to you.
And Trina Stewart.
Yes, Trina. I would know Trina, and I think we have met a few times, Trina. So please extend my best wishes to yourself and your family.
And Shirley Farrell.
Shirley, how are you? Good evening to you.
And Maureen Burke, she's up there in the county of Leitrim.
Hello, Maureen. I tell you, you have a great span of listeners, Maureen. You're from Auchnacoy to Leitrim to Wexford to Waterford. Fair play to you.
Now, and we have there's a young lady called Aoife Arnold as well, and she's a huge fan of yours. Now, she says there's a kind of herself and Ray Murtaugh now. I'm not too sure, but she says if you were to say a big hello to her, that she might actually put you just above Ray Murtaugh. Now, I'm not too sure.
Well, I tell you, it'd be an honour to be above Ray. I know Ray very well, a great singer, and as a matter of fact, Ray was coming out. We were due to fly out. Would you believe? Tomorrow, we were due to fly out to Spain for our boogie on the Brava. So I'm thinking of all those people who we couldn't travel with because of what's happened. So, Aoife, maybe next year, if you get a chance, if you're of an age that you can travel, or your mum and dad or whatever, get them to maybe talk to them and maybe come out to the boogie in the Brava, and Ray Murtaugh will be there with me. So in whichever order you have us in, one or two or one, we'll both be there waiting for you.
And actually, would you believe it, Margaret Moore has just come back to me to tell me that she shares the same birthday as you, so you should know her by that now.
Well, Margaret, I won't tell you my age if you don't tell me yours.
She says she's 21 now. I don't know whether to believe her or not now, but
I'm definitely 20 if she's 21.
Now, by the way, I don't know whether you might do me a big favour. You see, we're actually 12 years on the air today, Robert, and Mr. Pat Garrett, yes, Pat Butler, or Pat Garrett as we like to call him, he's old enough to have shot Billy the Kid, but I don't think he's taken the blame for that one. Like as the saying goes, I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. But it's his birthday as well. Would you be able to wish a big happy birthday to our Pat Garrett here on the station?
Well, Pat, I wish you, not only will I wish you a happy birthday, but I wish you a happy anniversary on the station's success over the last 12 years. And we can't say cheers with a drink at the minute because we're social isolating. But when we do meet again, we'll raise a glass and try to celebrate all those occasions. And I hope you have a great one, whatever you're doing. I'm sure you're out probably in the garden or walking or doing something special for yourself. So whatever it is, I hope it's a good one.
Now, and just before we let you loose, as the fella says, we were giving away an album of yours, a CD of yours here tonight, Robert. It was Redneck Man, and I put out a question, and it was, what state were you from? And have you the answer?
Well, I hope I do. The state I'm from is called Louisiana.
Louisiana. Now, and I have a load of entries in, so if you were to give me a number somewhere between 1 and 40, and I'll pick out I have them all numbered down here in front of me.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pick my age, and I'll go with 20.
20. Yeah. Well, actually, would you believe it? It is your little friend Aoife Arnold. So after winning.
Oh Aoife, I'm delighted. Of course, I know Aoife. Geez, I know Aoife and all of her family, and I know what big fans they are when he emerges. So maybe this puts me on equal par now. So I'll be lucky if that happens.
You could be very lucky, yeah. You could be very lucky, yeah. And actually, just a quick one for you. There's a song that's very, very well associated with yourself is Mama Courtney. And
yes.
There's a little bit of a backstory to that one, like it's sort of biographical.
Yes.
Would you give a little bit of that story, Robert, please?
Yeah, well, Mama Courtney was my foster mother, and many years ago, when I was only a young fella, my own mother and father had some difficulties, and my mother and father are both still alive and still well, thank God, and I do check in on them from time to time, and but at those times in my life we had some minor issues, and I was taken out of the home at a very young age, and I got the pleasure of meeting Mama Courtney. Now, Mama Courtney was in my life, for many years. She passed away. She's been gone maybe around 15 years now, and I do miss her a lot. But she was a woman who just dedicated her life to helping other children, and she fostered over. We estimated over 32,
wow.
33 children over her lifetime, and her husband, Papa Courtney, we called him. His name was Blackie. We called him Papa Courtney, and he worked at the power station and brought home every penny he had and looked after the kids, and they were just remarkable people. And I always there's a documentary actually that you can look up if you go to RTE. I spent 4 days out there in America along with Derek Mooney, and we done a full rundown, a documentary of my life, and we spoke to people from Louisiana, and we spoke to my dad, and we spoke to some of my foster family. So if anybody wants to go onto the RTE player, they might just be able to look it up. It's one of the documentaries on one. I think it's called Doc on One. So if anybody would like to, if they have a bit of extra time these days, I don't like to pull them away from your radio station, of course, but I know they can find this documentary when you're off air to make sure that they're not interfering with your listenership. Yeah. But it tells the whole story of how I came to Ireland and the things that Mom and Papa Courtney done for me down through the years. And only recently I just finished a program with the BBC. They were here at the house filming, and we talked about, again, another story. We delved a little bit more in detail about Mama Courtney and how much of an influence she was in my life. So people can expect that to be on air in the next few weeks as well.
Perfect. That's great. Now, so there's a little bit of homework for all the listeners out there. You can, you can't say now, anyone that's there saying I'm cocooning and all that, and I don't have time to do anything. You have loads of time now, and there's something to do. Look up all those little bits there that Robert was telling you to look up, and you'll have it'll keep you very, very busy. And that's, anyway, we're going to have to let you loose there, because I'm sure Leo and Maisie and even Adele probably have more of a call in your time now than I do. So, and the listeners here as well. So
we're quite lucky. The little ones are not long tucked in bed, and this is the time of the evening me and Adele sit down and have a chat, and we talk about things other than Mickey Mouse and Teletubbies. We're glad.
Barney the dinosaur, super duper.
But as I could say, I can leave you with this sentiment, and to all your listeners out there. There's a lot of people, confused, and a lot of people scared about what's going on, and I know I can understand that fear. But I would say to anybody to, just to try and enjoy the little bit of free time they have, and to maybe, reflect on their own situation, and maybe help somebody else out if they need us. And they can be sure that if I've met you, or if our paths have crossed over the last 30 years, I'm thinking of you guys out there, and let's just hope that we can all put this behind us and move on with our lives and take something from it along the way.
Perfect. Thanks a million, Robert, for joining us here tonight. The Louisiana man, Mr. Robert Mizzell, thanks a million.
God bless. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're going to play you out here with Mama Courtney's song Robert was just talking about. Thanks a million.
I remember as a baby, barely 1 year old, when I first met Mama Courtney with her heart of gold. I didn't know it way back then how she...
Bringing you the best in country and Irish music. This is your station, irishcountrymusicradio.com.